How's it going, everyone? In this video we're covering everything new that's coming out to the AirPods. So as always, timestamps of everything will be in the description down below. But if you have a pair of AirPods 4 active noise cancellation or non-active noise cancellation, as well as a pair of AirPod Pros second generation lightning or non-lightning, these both receive firmware updates including new features and improvements. Unfortunately, the AirPod Max did not receive anything at all. But these improvements include better stabilized audio recording, camera control functionality, stable call abilities, and a simplified way to do firmware updates on your AirPods. So if you do have a pair of AirPods, the things you need to update to perform this update is, one, you need to be on iOS 26. At the time of this video, we are on developer beta, so you do need to have a developer account if you'd like to have access to this. So if you do, all you need to do is just put on a pair of your AirPods. So we're going to go ahead and put on our AirPods Pro 2nd Gen. And we are going to need to go into our settings. Wait for the name of the AirPods to pop up. So AirPods Pro 2nd Generation. And then just scroll down until you locate the AirPod Beta updates. From here, enable this. And it's your decision if you like to include analyst data for Apple to use on their improvements for future updates. But once you have that enabled, now just watch something for like 30 seconds and then put the AirPods back in the case. And within like an hour or two, your AirPods should automatically update to the latest beta update. And then simply just put them on to confirm. After you have both your two devices on standby, make sure you're above 50% as well, including the AirPods. Go back to your AirPod settings. If your AirPods are not coming up, you could always force connect them like so. They should pop up now, and then just scroll all the way down and look for version 8A279D, and this is the version you got to be on to be in the beta firmware update, which includes new features, which I'm going to go ahead and highlight right now. So thanks to the H2 chip that's found on these pair of AirPods, this includes vocal grade audio for studio recording, for podcast interviews, music recording, and video recording. So the microphone has been improved, as well as the back noise reduction. But if we scroll down to the camera control section where it says press 1, this is where you can go in and decide to enable this. So by having this enabled for both the AirPods 4 or the AirPod Pros, you know, when you put these on, when you do a little pinch, it will take a picture, or if you press 1 and hold, you can select that too, and it'll also take a picture as well as a video. So if we go into our camera roll, our camera app right now, launch it, and I switch to the front facing camera. Now if I pinch the AirPods, let me get my ear in here, like so, it will start a 3-second countdown and it will take a photo. And with video, it will immediately start recording and you can end recording. That's basically how it works, and it works really well. Now after you get done updating, another thing you'll probably see when you connect your AirPods for the first time is this notification splash screen showing you that charging reminders is now available, as well as the sleep mode where it'll automatically pause your earbuds when you pass out. And of course, we just covered the camera control. Now in charging reminders, whenever you plug in your iPhone to charge, you'll also get a notification right here if it indicates that one of your AirPods are low on batteries. So our notification did pop up telling us our AirPods are low, and it's reminding us to charge. And then just like our Apple Watch, if you ever dock your Apple Watch and it's fully charged, it will also send you a notification with AirPods telling you that your AirPods are fully charged. Now for that sleep control, by going back into our settings, on the main page on your AirPods, if you scroll down, underneath microphone, you'll see a section that got newly added, and that is pause media when falling asleep. By having this enabled, your AirPods can detect when you fall asleep, automatically pausing your media. This includes videos, podcasts, music, and etc. And this will be the splash screen that you'll see to enable that functionality, but if you hit not now, again, you could just locate it right here in the AirPod settings and enable it. And I've tested it already so far, and it works pretty well. Although, after 30 minutes or so, usually one earbud falls out of my ear, but nonetheless, not bad. Now, other new settings can be located in our main setting page on our iPhone. If you scroll down to the General tab, and we go into AirPlay, and on the very bottom, there's a new setting that allows you to enable to keep the audio in the headphones. Now, keep in mind, this is not exclusive to just AirPods. This will be any Bluetooth headphone that's connected to these, including older AirPod models. By having this enabled, whenever you get in your car, the audio won't just automatically transfer to CarPlay as an example. So no longer it'll just randomly disconnect to like my laptop or something like that. So with iOS 26, everything got redesigned. So since we're starting from the very beginning, some tips and tricks and as well as hidden features that I have for the AirPods Pro are located in the AirPods selection. On top here, you always have the ability to rename these. And if you own a lot of AirPods around your household, they could just be friends and family. It's always important to rename them. This way, whenever they pop up on your screen, you know whose AirPod these are. But down here, you'll find your little different mode selections you can select from. And depending on the AirPods you're using, the modes will correlate to the device you're using. So like Beats as an example, you should still find this control right here. But a faster method to control this can be located in Control Center. If you have the volume rocker right here on your device, by long holding, you have the ability to quickly change between these different settings as well, and some, because not only do we have noise cancellation, adaptive mode basically combines noise cancellation and transparency together, where it uses intelligence to detect if you're talking to somebody, it'll go to transparency mode, and when it's quiet, it'll quickly switch back to noise cancellation. It works really well. But in conversation awareness, this is where you could decide if you like to have your earbuds ready for a conversation as soon as you start talking, or if it detects that somebody's talking to you, it will automatically go from noise cancellation as well as to transparency mode. And then in spatial stereo, this is where you could adjust the head tracking movement. If you're watching a movie on your iPhone or iPad, if you move your head, it gives you like a 3D rotation effect. But if you have it fixed, it will stay fixed even while you're moving your head away from the screen. Some people have noticed, however, when listening to audio, it's good to have it off or fixed. Off will give you the best results if you're listening to music. And then if you don't have the volume, again, you can always just hold, add control, search up volume, and you'll find it right here and you can quickly just tap and add it. But exiting out of here, in the hearing protection, by selecting here, have this enabled. By having this enabled, if you're ever walking down the street or something like that and a truck just honks, or there's just a loud construction nearby, active noise cancellation will automatically toggle on if you're in transparency mode and reduce the loud noise. Think of earmuffs at a gun range. These AirPods have that ability, so long as you have active noise cancellation, regardless if it's the AirPod 4 or the second generation AirPod Pros. But down here is where you can perform the in-ear fit tests. If you believe your earbuds are leaking a lot of noise, perform the ear fit tests, as it's going to play sound and it will give you a rating if you have the proper seal around your ear tips. Because out of the box, the AirPods Pro second generation actually do include an extra small silicone tip to give you the best fit possible. And having the best fit will improve audio quality as well as give you the best results for your noise cancellation. Now exiting out of here, underneath here you'll find the hearing aid settings. If you haven't took the test yet, you won't have access to this toolbar. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is redo the test, and I'm going to do my best to get myself the best results. So let's perform the in-ear test. It's going to test for hearing loss, as well as if you're in a middle, mid, or moderate hearing loss. The AirPods can provide hearing assistance to make vocals, music, and sound that you hear easier. This includes listening to media. So take the hearing test. It's going to ask you a Q&A, just to quickly answer these questions. And this process typically takes about 10 minutes, and it is advised you to be in a quiet room. So there we go, we got the green light that our environment is okay. Hit next. And this process typically takes about 10 minutes, so see you in a little bit. Alright, let's see our results. And little to no loss. So let's go ahead and tap set up hearing aid. Pretend like we do have hearing aid issues, and turn on hearing aid. And from here it will guide us that we can make control adjustments in Control Center. So I have a long holding and tap add control, and we type in ear, we should see a hearing aid setting right here we could add. So by enabling this will give us quicker access to our hearing assistant, where we include it for calls, FaceTime, music, as well as hearing aid functionality. You can adjust how aggressive you want the amplification to be. You can also balance it from right to left, tone, as well as enabled conversation boost, which is great for phone calls, especially if you're outdoors in a windy environment. and the noise cancellation isn't doing a good job. You could do this to help it out even more. But by doing that hearing aid assistant test, if you hit turn on the very bottom, you have access to all these additional tools, such as the ability to enable it during media, hearing aid functionality, because right now I have like super hearing, but if I don't want that, I could just turn that off. By having that enabled, I have the ability to actually adjust it. So if I hit OK previously on that little screen, I would never had access to that. So previously you had to purposely fail to have access to these tools, and now you no longer have to do that. And from here, you can always update your hearing results. But if you like to see your hearing results in the past, you can quickly just hop into the health app on your iPhone, and we hit the little find section, and we type in hearing. From on top, in the data tab, you'll see your hearing test results right here. And we'll keep tabs of it too, so you can always go back to show more data, and you go back between like previous times you took this test. But it's a good tool to have to backtrack in case your hearing is getting better or worse. So that's hearing aid in a nutshell. Now, continuing on, press and hold AirPods. So both the right and left earbud, the little pinch button, can be programmed to do other things. Right now I have both left and right one to control the noise cancellation, which allows me to cycle. I can also include the adaptive mode as well, so I can cycle between these three. So you can select them, control them to your personal preference, but a popular one would be to make one dedicated to Siri. So my left one is dedicated for noise cancellation, my noise controls, as well as my right will be my virtual voice assistant. But don't forget, you always have the ability to verbally just awaken Siri. Sorry if I set your devices up by just saying the S word, and then the virtual voice system will begin listening to your requests. Which, if you don't like the virtual voice system to automatically go up, you can always just go into your iPhone settings, go into Apple Intelligence and Siri section, depending on the phone, but it'll be in the Siri section. And from here, you'll be able to look for Talk to Siri. And this is where you can go in and disable that functionality if you don't want it to verbally just come up, and just tap off. Now, back onto the AirPods section. In the control, this is where you customize the call controls. A single press will answer a phone call. A double press will mute or unmute. And another press after you pick up will automatically hang up the call. You can decide if you want to press twice to hang up the call. This way it doesn't feel repetitive, but it will adjust the other settings as you notice. See? And then in camera control, we already highlighted that. That was one of the new features. But down here where it says personalized audio, by having this enabled, the volume of whatever media you're listening to of the AirPods will automatically adjust to the environment you're around. So if it starts to get loud outside, the AirPods will get loud. And then you can do the exact same thing with conversation awareness, where it will lower your media and reduce background noise when you're starting to talk to somebody. But a new tool that we did receive is the adaptive audio. Here you could adjust the slider if you want the adaptive audio to be less aggressive or more aggressive. So you can have the ability to actually change the dynamic response now to the environment. And then below here is the ear detection. If you're somebody who constantly shares earbuds to somebody else after watching something or listening to music at the same time, when you take off an earbud, it will automatically pause your media. So if we enable this and we go into music, and I'm just going to play a random song, if I take one earbud off, it will automatically pause my earbud, which makes it difficult to share the audio with somebody else if you want to share earbuds and they don't have AirPods of their own. So by disabling automatic ear detection, now if I hit play and I take off an earbud, it still is going to resume playing. So basically you could share audio that way. This is all personal preference, but I do find it better having that enabled because it saves battery life a little bit. And real quick, if you've been enjoying this video so far, if you could take 2 seconds to kindly hit that like button, truly appreciate those, as those strongly support the channel. And I prefer my channel to be driven by you guys, the viewers, which is why I don't like accepting brands for like a sponsorship for a VPN or something like that. That takes up like a minute or two off your time. I'm also a viewer when it comes to watching videos on YouTube, and sometimes those are kind of annoying, which is why I prefer not to do that. So big thank you to those that continue supporting the channel by just hitting that like button. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. Let's carry on. Now, if you're somebody who's not a fan of your Apple devices constantly changing from one AirPods to the other whenever you start using your iPad or a laptop as an example, in the connected to this device, if you select automatically, it will automatically continue to do that. But if you hit when last connected to this phone, it will no longer do that. That will require you to manually connect it on the other device by either selecting Bluetooth or doing the method I like to do, and just select it and force them to be overridden to connect to that device. So that's what that allows you to do. Now in personalized spatial audio, if you haven't done this yet, I highly recommend going in here and set up personalized spatial audio. And what this basically allows you to do is basically personalize the spatial audio to your ear preference. So I'm going to go ahead and stop mine, and I'm going to stop using personalized spatial audio. It's going to delete my file. So your file, if you haven't set this up, will look something like this. It's going to give you a guide on how it works, and it'll show you a demonstration how the audio shifts to my head movement. And with spatial audio, it gives me like this 3D immersion. I highly recommend enabling this because it definitely does allow you watching movies as well as other media content, a similar experience as if you're in a full surround sound environment like a movie theater. So setting it up is as simply just selecting personalized spatial audio, allow it to load. This process may take about 5 minutes to complete, and then tap continue. Do not put them in the case, and just follow the on-screen instructions. It's going to tell you to position your iPhone in front of you so your face is centered, and you should get a green light that you're good to go. And just like that, you have personalized the spatial audio. It's just trying to get the position of your ears, believe it or not. And go ahead and watch the movie and you'll see what I mean. Now, microphone. By having microphone enabled to automatically switch to AirPods, this allows the first earbud to be the dedicated microphone for your phone calls or video recording. But if you like to manually dedicate one, like to make it always your right AirPod or left AirPod, you could totally override that as well. And then this is where you could enable your pause media when falling asleep. I already had and covered that earlier. Now, head gestures. The cool thing about these AirPods 4 as well as the AirPod Pros is they do feature head gesture controls. So if Siri is asking you, would you like to reply to this message, you can simply just nod your head yes or no. And it makes like this ball effect, allowing you to actually hear the response. So this prevents you to verbally just say no in front of a crowded audience. And then from here you could adjust the up and down to be a yes or no, or decline could be up and down. I don't know why you want to do that, but you can reverse it if you like. Personal preference, I like that freedom. We have options. And then by hitting the preview one, you could actually hear like the ball bouncing as you move your head. So you have a better understanding how that experience is like. Now, exiting out of here, in the battery section, I highly recommend enabling battery optimization. This allows the AirPods to recharge at a safe rate to prevent the AirPods from dying earlier. In terms of battery longevity, since after all, it's impossible to replace AirPod batteries other than replacing the whole hardware itself. I highly recommend enabling this, giving you the best battery life out of your earbuds as well as your AirPod case. And then charging notifications. This is where you can disable the screen notification to charge your device that I was showing you earlier. Now, exiting out of there, you could do the exact same thing for the case. So if you want to disable the case from giving feedback sound, you could disable that from there as well. Now, in the Find My network, these two earbuds have the Find My capability, including older AirPods too, which allows you to locate misplaced earbuds or the AirPod case entirely, and yes, you could play sound. So if you misplace an AirPod, you could just launch the Find My app, or click on Show in My Find, which basically will just take you to your Find My app. Look for your device, and right here you'll be able to use Find, which is very similar to like your AirPods, where it will show you if you're getting closer or further away. Yes, you could play sound to help locate them faster. And in case you did miss them, like at an airport or something like that, you could enable it so it shows your contact information. And from here, you could enter if you want your email to show or a phone number. And then simply hit continue. And this is where you can enter the phone number or continue to use your email address. So if somebody finds their misplaced AirPods at a park, airport, school, they know who to contact because these will be bricked, especially if you go down and actually enable lost mode. You can also allow them to notify you in case you left one of these AirPods behind. Now in the accessibility tab, this is where you go in and actually change the press speed. If you like the press stem to be slower or the slowest, you can select that. Same goes for the press and hold duration. And then if you like to enable noise cancellation on one earbud, you could enable it right here. And then if you like to turn off loud sound reduction, which is recommended to have them on, but by turning these off, these will allow the earbuds to get extremely loud, so loud that it could cause hearing damage. So I don't recommend doing that. And then for spatial audio tracking, make sure it's enabled on follow iPhone. That kind of defeats the purpose. But if you like to increase the tone of the AirPods, you can always increase it right here manually this way as well. And don't forget, AirPods do have volume controls. But if you like to disable the swipe ability of the earbuds to increase or decrease the audio, you can disable it manually if you find it being annoying. But if you do find the volume slider to be too sensitive, you can always adjust how long you want it to take to adjust the volume. So you can adjust the setting. Personal preference, experiment with this. So you can simply just like start a video or play a song and start adjusting the audio and then continue to adjust it as you progress until you find the best one for you. Now, getting out of here, this is where you find the ear-in-ear fit test. I already explained that one. And then down here, you could manually turn off the AirPods listening mode, which will allow the AirPods to adapt to your environment to give you hearing protection. Another setting just like the previous one, but here you could override everything to like just turn it off and preserve battery life as much as possible, which I heard doesn't really do much. Now, continue scrolling down. This is where you'll find more information about your current AirPods, including the serial number, as well as coverage, and see more if you have warranty with Apple or not, as well as give you a quick breakdown if you have Apple Care as well. And then down here is where you can manually disconnect or remove these devices from your iCloud account and sell it to somebody else. Now, a hidden feature about the AirPods is its EQ settings. You see, these do feature EQ settings, just however you have to go into the music app to have access to these. So here in our settings, by scrolling down to all apps right in here, and you go into music, there we go, and then scroll down to EQ. This is where you can actually go ahead and select between these pre-made EQ settings. Unfortunately, there's no custom ones, but what you can do is play music, and then when we go back, you can simply adjust it and listen to the changes that it's doing in real time until you find the best one for you. My personal favorite for EDM style genre songs is increased bass. Same goes for loudness. Now, another bonus setting, you see down here, I have a slider. Typically, this isn't available at all times because as soon as I pause the media, I still have access to this slider. If you like to have this volume slider to always be available, to enable this, you need to go into your iPhone settings, and then we need to go into the main page right here. Scroll down to accessibility and look for visual and audio. Right here, audio and visual. I swapped the two. And then from here, go down and make sure you have this enabled where it says always show volume control. And now that volume control switch will always show on your lock page regardless. And then of course, with a pair of AirPods, since they're all part of the Apple ecosystem, if you have an Apple TV, if you like to listen to whatever media you're watching on the big screen without waking up anybody around, like in case your spouse is asleep, by simply going to Control Center, selecting AirPlay, you can manually connect your AirPods to them manually this way. Sometimes it even shows you a little notification on top telling you that AirPods are nearby. Would you like to connect? And just follow the remote control option and it will automatically connect in no time. Now, don't forget, these AirPods, they're wire resistant. Even the AirPods Pro case, it's wire resistant. The case itself is wire resistant, not just the earbuds. As the case actually has a wire resistant rating of IP54 basically, wire dust resistant rating. I've washed these in the washer and they gone through the dryer, and to this very day, these still work. And then let's say your buddy likes to listen to whatever media you're watching, regardless if they have a pair of AirPods or even Beats products, and go down Control Center, go where the media that's currently playing, select the AirPods icon, and on top here you'll see these two figurine icon on top. You can just select this and it will take you to a splash screen tutorial showing you how to enable audio sharing. Now what your friend needs to do is just open up their case and then select audio sharing, and this screen will pop up connecting the two devices. And then both audio devices are now playing audio at the same time directly with no lag or anything like that. And if you long hold in the volume rocker, you could adjust the audio individually between yours and your friend's device like so, including control their active noise cancellation, transparency modes, and other features. You'll also find media control right here, and to disconnect, just unselect your friend's device. So now while you and your friend are watching your video, depending on the AirPod case you're using, but majority of cases, thanks to the edge design on most modern day iPhones, you can always just rest your phone like this and it will act like a little kickstand. It works even better when you're using a third-party case, which I'll have this one in the description down below for you guys in case you're curious. Now, if you are also a MacBook user, If you like to rest your earbuds real quick, the side hinges of your Mac actually do have magnets, which are strong enough to actually hold the AirPods in place. You'll find better results on the bottom as well. These magnets are much more powerful. This way you don't lose your earbuds in case you just have temporarily just rest them down on your desk. Now when it comes to media control, the AirPods, as I previously stated, you have volume control functionality by simply just sliding your finger like this on the stem. A single press will pause or play your media. A double tap will take us to the next track, and a triple tap will take us to the previously played track. And then of course, depending on the modes you selected, a long press will switch between different modes that the AirPods have. Now, other cool features that the AirPods in general have is they have ambient modes, ambient noises, one would say. If you launch Control Center and we long hold, and we tap Add Control, and we type in music, a new feature that was recently added is ambient music. Here you can switch between different genres, sleep, chill, productivity, as well as well-being. So if you need help falling asleep, just add this category and press on it. It'll start playing soothing sleep noises, and an Apple Music subscription is not required. In addition to that, if we long hold again, if you tap on the icon in edit mode, you could switch between a custom playlist right here. So you have these pre-made ones, or you could select one dedicated from your library, and you can just select choose, and it'll bring up your playlist. So if you have something you like to play on your own that you've personally created, you could totally do that. And then if you notice, this icon is actually showing us real-time decibel levels. And this is a separate control center device, and this is the hearing aid functionality, the one we added earlier. So just type in ear or hearing, you'll see it right here. And the beauty about this is by having this one in your control center, if you tap on it, you'll have access to the decibel levels as I previously stated, but you can also enable background sounds, which are more ambient sounds you could continue playing, such as like the sound of rain, the ocean, dark noise, and you have a little slider right here, which you continue to adjust if you like to. And if you go all the way down, you can find background sound settings, which just takes you to the accessibility tab to manually enable it, but you could do it in Control Center like I previously showed you. Now, another thing that I like to show you in this hearing tab is live listening. This is kind of like hearing aid. By having this enabled, let me just lower my audio real quick. It will utilize your microphone on your iPhone and allows the audio to be transmitted from your phone to your earbuds. So technically you could use this to eavesdrop if you want to, which is not advice, but that's what live listening now unfortunately is now known for. If you find a device that's live listening, like a random iPhone, and it has like the orange indicator enabled, it's likely you're using live listening. If you find this, you're better off by just simply powering off their device by simply hitting volume up and down and long holding and just slide the power off their device. But new for iOS 26 is you have the ability to rewind the conversation. So it's actually recording what you're saying. You even translate it right here. So if you miss something, you can hit 10 seconds and then it will also do live captions on the bottom and then end the recording. The recording log does not get saved. You can only backtrack 10 seconds though. Now when it comes to charging your AirPods, these AirPods can take MagSafe, wireless charging, as well as USB-C or Lightning. But if you need to quickly charge your device and all you have is your iPhone that supports USB-C, it can actually deliver output power. So you can use your phone to charge your AirPods on the go. And then when charging, if you tap on the little LED light indicator, it will actually illuminate the color, telling you the current battery life status. But for your best result, it's best to have like a widget on your iPhone that can monitor the battery life stats of your AirPods, as well as you could do the same thing on their log page. And there you guys have it. Now you're a pro when it comes to using your AirPods to its full potential. Now if you wish to watch more, maybe like to see everything new that got added on CarPlay side of things. Technically this is like CarPlay 2.0 since we have widgets. I cover everything in greater detail in this video over there. Thank you so much for watching.